Hey lovely yogis, welcome back to another flow with me, Amy, if you haven't met me before, and if you're one of the wonderful people who is here all the time, then welcome back. This is going to be a full hour-long class exploring the concept of active versus passive. So often in our yoga classes we can just sink down into a pose, especially if it's one that we do all the time. We might not engage our muscles in it without realising, or we might use something like our arms to drag us into a twist rather than using our strength and our mobility to do it. So we're going to be contrasting those things today, exploring the active and the passive versions of poses and seeing how finding that engagement can change the practice for you. Without further ado, you can grab blocks if you've got them, they might be useful, and you can make your way into a comfortable seat. You can be in a cross-legged position, you can be sat on your knees, you can pop yourself up on a block if that helps you find a nice long spine. Even in this posture, this might look like a very passive pose, but we can find the engagement here, lifting the crown of the head up to the sky, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears, rooting the sit bones down into the earth, finding that stability in our spine, stacking head over heart, over hips, finding length through both sides of the waist. And start to become an active observer of your body and your breath, rather than letting those things pass by without awareness. Start to notice any sensations in the body that are drawing your attention. Any areas that feel a bit tense, a bit tight. And can you send your attention there and maybe soften them? How is your breathing? Are you breathing consciously in and out through the nose? Filling up the belly with air on every inhale, from top to bottom, left to right, front to back. And are you engaging your core as you exhale to squeeze out every last drop of air? You might engage your ujjayi breathing here, so that slight constriction to the back of the throat to make the breath audible, helping you to engage with it and notice it even more. Take 3 more deep breaths here on your own. If your eyes are closed, you can keep them closed or you can open them if that feels better for you. Bring the hands onto the knees. On your next inhale, draw the chest forwards, draw the collarbones back, and exhale round the spine, drawing the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, lift everything forwards. Exhale, round everything back. So it's like a cat-cow, but seated here with our hands on our knees. And just like in cat-cow, make it fluid, so one movement flows seamlessly into the next. Inhaling forwards, exhaling, rounding the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. One more time like this, inhaling forwards. Exhaling back, and now release the hands from the knees and keep on moving but hands free. So you might inhale cactus, exhale round, bring the hands to interlace, inhale cactus, exhale round, Inhale, cactus, using the mobility in our spine to move rather than using the strength of our hands to pull us back and forth. Inhaling, blossoming yourself open. Exhaling, rounding everything in. One more time each way. Inhale to open. Exhale, round. Now inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. Exhale, bring right hand to left knee, left hand out behind, or you can hook that right hand onto the left inner thigh. Inhale, find a bit of length. Exhale, take yourself deeper into the twist, using the hands to assist you this time. And use your next breath in, sweep the arms up, and your next breath out to twist over to the other side. Fill the lungs, find some length, and empty the lungs. Take it a little bit deeper. This time, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, twist without using the hands. Bring the hands to heart center, press the hands together. See how far you can twist when you're just using the core to twist you here. Take another breath in and breathe out once again. Can you take it a little bit deeper? Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the other side. Keeping both sit bones rooted down into the earth. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, bring the right hand or the right elbow down onto the mat. Take a side bend over to the right. Send the breath into the left side of the body. On your next breath in, reach those arms up, and your next exhale, side bend over to the other side and take a full cycle of breath into that side body. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, side bend to the right, but this time, right hand comes onto the right hip. Reach that left arm up and over, and keep yourself lifted through both sides of the waist when you don't have that right hand down on the mat to support you. So not collapsing down, keeping that chest nice and lifted. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Take that side bend, finding length and finding strength. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, bring both hands onto the mat. Turn to face the front of the mat if you're not already. Uncross the ankles and come into tabletop. And come into tabletop how you might if you weren't really thinking about it. So not really feeling into the hands, maybe locking out the elbows, maybe the belly is collapsing down towards the earth. And then find the opposite, so press the floor away with the hands, really gluing those fingertips into the earth, micro bending the elbows so that we're engaging the arms, engaging the core, drawing the navel up towards the spine, finding that nice long line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. This is yet another pose that looks like nothing and can feel like nothing when we're used to it and when we're not engaging. So take this time here to feel into the core, feel into the arms. And on your next inhale, extend the right arm forwards, left leg back. Hold here in your spinal balance, sending energy out through the right fingertips and through the left toes. Inhale, extend even further. Exhale, round everything in, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round everything in. Extend, round, two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Now inhale, extend back out. Bring the right hand back down onto the earth. Draw that left knee into the nose and then step it through in between the hands. So we're in a low lunge on the left leg here. Should have started with the right leg, but oh well, here we are. So again, in your lunge, have the fingertips down on the earth. If you've got blocks, they might come in useful here, having them by your sides. And just see what it feels like to really sink down into your lunge. No engagement in the legs. And it might feel good, but it's not necessarily going to do us good. So now find the contrast between lifting up and out through the hips, drawing the left hip back, drawing the right hip forwards, lifting the spine, bring the hands onto the hips, stack head over heart, over hips, and this really does get my legs working when I engage in this pose. I can feel them, I can feel my legs working here. On your next breath in, reach both arms up and then breathe out, straighten the front leg, send the hips back in space, bring the fingertips back down to the earth for a half split. Fingertips or hands down on the mat, folding down over that left leg. And again, notice the difference between letting that left foot be all floppy versus bringing the left toes to point back towards the face, intensifying that stretch in the back of the left leg. Now can you lift the hands to hover off the mat, sweep the arms behind you, firing up through the left hamstring to hold us in this position, finding the balance here. Bring the fingertips back down onto the earth or onto blocks, point through the left toes and lift the left leg to hover off the mat. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot back down, lunge back into that leg, pick the back knee up off the mat, step your way forwards into a forward fold. Take a moment here to bend and straighten one leg at a time, wiggling the hips, wiggling the torso from side to side. On your next breath in, press the hands into the earth, into the shins or into the quads, coming up to a flat back position. And then keeping that spine in that nice long neutral position. Lift the hands and extend the arms straight out in front of you. Imagine like you're trying to reach your arms out to grab a big beach ball that's being held out in front of you. Really energize those fingertips, finding strength and length through the whole entire spine. Make sure you're not locking out your knees. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lift all the way up to standing. Reach the arms up overhead, tall mountain. Release the arms down by your I told you I can't speak, guys. Release the arms down by your sides and take a moment here in your Tadasana. Root down through the feet, pressing the floor away from you, engaging through the quads, lifting the kneecaps, drawing up and out through both sides of the waist, lifting through the collarbones as you draw the shoulder blades down the back body and reaching the crown of the head up towards the sky. Just because it's a simple standing pose doesn't mean that we can't find the engagement here. On your next breath in, reach both arms up overhead and breathe out. Bend the knees deeply, come down into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift with the arms extended out overhead. Exhale, fold. Step one foot at a time back to your plank position. And again, notice how it feels to not really think about your plank as you might often do. So maybe your hips are sagging towards the floor, your belly is not engaged, you're maybe locking out through the elbows, letting the head collapse down. And then micro bend those elbows, lift the hips, engage the core, gaze down between the fingertips. Notice how this changes the pose for you. Pressing the floor away, collarbones forwards, shoulder blades back. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then drop down onto the knees, landing back in your tabletop position. On your next breath in, extend the left arm forwards and the right leg back. Find that one long line of energy from the left fingertips all the way out through the right toes. Take another breath in, find even more length, and then breathe out, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Extend as you breathe in, round as you breathe out. 2 more times. Lengthening and curling. Extending and rounding. One more time, extend, bring that left hand back to the mat, and then draw the right knee into the nose, step that foot through. I know you're probably used to doing right side then left, so we'll get back to that normal pattern on our next little flow. Just me getting it a bit mixed up this time. So once again, sinking down at first and then finding the engagement, squeezing the inner thighs together, lifting, pressing the earth away with that front foot. Imagine like you've got a piece of paper in between your inner thighs and you're trying to hold it there, squeezing them together. Reach the arms up overhead. Another breath in and then breathe out. Straighten that front leg. Windmill the arms down to the earth. Half splits. Ardha Hanumanasana. Let that foot go all floppy. And then draw the toes back towards the face, feeling into the back of that left leg. And then maybe you play around with hovering the fingertips off the mat, reaching them behind you, finding the balance. Bring those fingertips back to the earth, point the right toes, lift that foot to hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that foot back down. Come back into your low lunge, frame that foot, pick up the back knee, step your way forwards into a fold. Inhale, halfway lift, arms extend overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms up, tall mountain. Take another breath in, reach those fingertips even higher, and breathe out, come down into your fold. Inhale, flat back, arms extend. Exhale, fold. Step one foot at a time back to your plank. Once again, finding the engagement, micro bending those elbows, and let's take some rocks on the toes. So rocking the weight backwards and forwards. This is definitely a great way to help you connect to your core if you hadn't got in touch with it already in this practice. Keep it going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly lower yourself all the way down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoo. Inhale, press the hands into the earth, lift up into cobra. Exhale, release. Hands are in line with ribs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Press the floor away. Exhale, lower. And now, lift the hands to hover off the mat. Lift the chest as you inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Can you lift just as high when you're not using the force of your hands, when you're just finding the strength in your spine? Keep it flowing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Really, really hard to speak while doing this. Exhale, release. Hands in line with ribs. Tuck under the toes. Either press back up to a plank. 4, 3, 2, 1, or come up via your knees, tabletop, and we'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Let's check in with our downward facing dog. Really, really press the floor away with your hands, rooting down through all 10 fingers, engaging through the arms, swiveling the armpits in towards your face, so swiveling the biceps out and the armpits inwards, energetically drawing the heels down in the direction of the earth and pointing the tailbone up towards the sky. Take a moment, find a turbo dog, so finding the halfway point between downward facing dog and dolphin, bending through the elbows but not letting them reach the earth. Hold your turbo dog for 10, 9, 8, release at any time, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then press back up to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, sweep the right leg up to the sky, back with the right side first now, as you might have wanted us to. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Extend. knee to nose. Give me 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round everything in as you rock forwards. Whoops, kick the door on your way back if you're me. Draw that knee in and then step that foot through in between the hands. Keep the back knee lifted this time. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up into your high crescent lunge. And again, notice the difference between sinking down into the legs versus drawing that right hip back, that left hip forwards, pressing the floor away from you with that right foot, squeezing the glutes here, tightening up through the quads. Take another deep breath in, reach the fingertips even higher and breathe out. Straighten that front leg, bring the fingertips to frame that foot or bring the hands down onto blocks if you've got them nearby. Deep inhale here and exhale. Engaging through that front leg, drawing the kneecap up towards the hip, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And now can you keep your position here and reach the fingertips out in front, lifting the hands off the mat, extending them straight out ahead, extended pyramid. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the fingertips either back down onto the earth or onto blocks if you've got them, which I would definitely recommend for this next bit. Point through the right toes, lift that foot to hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that foot back down, bend back into that knee. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, step the back foot to meet the front foot and land in your chair pose. It would be nice and easy to just stay high up in our chair, but we're challenging ourselves to sink down deeply into those legs. Lengthening the tailbone down towards the earth, drawing the navel back towards the spine, reaching the fingertips up to the sky, sending that energy through the whole entire body. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Straighten the legs, tall mountain. Exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, halfway lift, extend the arms ahead. Exhale, fold. Step 1 foot at a time back to your plank, or you could hop back to plank and work through a vinyasa. Inhaling to up dog, exhaling downward facing dog. Take a full cycle of breath before we move on to the other side. Maybe sighing it out through the mouth for a deep releasing breath. Inhale, reach those left toes high. Exhale, knee to nose 5 times. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round everything in. 3 more. Deep breath in, reach up. Deep breath out, tap it in. Last 2. Extend. Tap as you exhale. Extend as you inhale. Tap. And then step that foot through in between the hands. Get nice and steady and stable. Then inhale, sweep the arms all the way up into your crescent lunge. Squeeze those glutes. Press that back heel away from you towards the back of the room. Press the earth away from you with the front foot. Stack head, heart, hips. Energize those arms. Take another breath in here and then breathe out. Straighten the front leg, windmill the arms down towards the earth for your pyramid pose. Find the energy in that left leg, engaging through the quads, stretching and strengthening through the hamstrings. And then start to hover the fingertips off the mat, reach them out in front of you, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring those fingertips either down to the mat or, as I recommend, onto blocks. Point the left toes and lift the left foot to hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that foot back down, move your blocks aside, bend back into that front leg and then step it forwards into your chair. Sinking down deep into the hips, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come all the way up into your tall mountain. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back with the arms extended out in front. Exhale, release. Make your way through a vinyasa or make it straight back to downward dog where we will all meet. Reconnect to your breath if you lost it. So we're going to work through that little sequence again, but switching it up, taking some parts out, adding some parts on, and we'll inhale, sweep the right leg high, exhale, step it straight through this time. Inhale, come up into your high lunge. Exhale, come straight into the pyramid with the arms extended ahead. So straightening that front leg, reaching the arms out in front, and now cactus the arms, elbows into the ribs, extend. Cactus, extend, cactus, extend, cactus, extend. Keep the arms extended, bend back into that front knee, coming into our power lunge. And option here to come up onto the tiptoes of that front foot, lifting the heel, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that heel back down, either with the arms extended or at heart centre. Launch your way into a warrior 3. Take 5 pulses on that right leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in your warrior 3 for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring the hands either onto the earth or onto blocks. Sweep the left leg up towards the sky, standing splits. Pressing the earth away from you to help you lift that left leg even higher up towards the sky. And now see if you can hover the hands off the mat and keep that leg just as lifted when you're just using the strength of the leg alone to lift it up. Bring the hands back down to the mat, take 3 Jiva squats, tapping left knee to the right calf for 3, 2, 1, and extend back again. Lift the hands off the mat, take 3 more Jiva squats if that is an option that works for you, for 3, 2, 1. Extend into warrior 3. Drop that foot, to the back of the mat. Inhale, lift up to your high lunge, and then once again, step it forwards into your chair. This time, maybe come up onto your tiptoes for a balanced chair, lifting as much of the foot off the mat as possible. And then maybe you rise up all the way to your tall mountain, still on the tiptoes, feeling into the calves. My legs are burning, I am sweating. Staying here on your tiptoes if you can. And then exhale, release down to the fold. Flat back, maybe with the arms extended. Exhale, fold. Step it back to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Full cycle of breath here. Don't know about you guys, but that felt pretty fiery to me. Whew. Reconnect to your breath. Maybe take a big sigh out through the mouth. On your next breath in, sweep the left leg up to the sky. Breathe out, step it through between the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up. High crescent lunge. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Reach the arms forwards and then take those cactus arms. Extend, cactus, extend, cactus, extend, cactus, extend. Keep the arms extended. Bend back into that front knee. Lift the front heel off the mat. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that heel back down and then launch into a warrior 3. Arms extended out ahead, which I would be doing if I had the space, but I don't, so hands are at heart centre. And we'll pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the fingertips down to the earth. Sweep the right leg up to the sky, using that dynamic opposition of the hands pressing into the earth to help you lift that leg even higher. And then can you lift the hands to hover and keep that leg just as lifted for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fingertips to the earth. 3 Jiva squats. 3, 2, 1. Hands off the earth. 3 Jiva squats. 3, 2, 1. Lift up into your warrior 3. Hold for just a moment and then step it all the way back. Inhale, sweep the arms up, high lunge. Exhale, step it forwards into your chair. Come up onto those tiptoes, hold for just an extra moment, and then lift all the way up, into your tall mountain on your tiptoes. If that works for you, you can lower the heels at any time. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Drop the heels, descend down into a fold, have a little wiggle, and then drop one knee at a time down to the mat. Bring the big toes to touch, bring the knees wide, sink the hips down towards the heels. Have a little wiggle here in a child's pose for just a moment. Honestly guys, I need this child's pose right now to help me catch my breath, so if you're feeling the same, you're not alone. Let's take 3 big deep breaths here in our child's pose. Hang out here for even longer if you wish, or if you're ready to move on with me, root down through the hands at the top of the mat, extend those legs back behind you, tuck under the toes, lift up into a plank, and then press your way back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, come up onto the toes, bend the knees, press the chest back towards the thighs, and then exhale, hop it forwards to the front of the mat, or step forwards if that works for you. Bend the knees deeply, inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring those hands down through heart center. Put all of your weight onto your right foot and then interlace the hands, lift the left knee up and into the chest, bring the hands to interlace around that knee, and then maybe take some circles with that left ankle going in one direction, and then take those circles in the other direction. Now start to take circles with that knee, using the hand to support you, going in each direction, lifting that leg up and down. Now release the grip on the knee, see if you can keep it just as lifted. Reach the arms all the way up overhead, squeeze that knee up and into the chest, start to take those circles with that knee. If you can feel your right leg burning, you're definitely not imagining that. Switch the direction of the circles with the knee. And now draw that knee back into the chest. A little challenge for you is to come into tree pose, but without using the hands to help you. So drawing that knee as high up as you can, placing the left foot on the right inner thigh, or on the right calf, or on the right ankle, just avoiding that knee. I'll let you take a few moments to get into your tree pose. You can take whichever arm variation you fancy. Maybe you take reverse prayer, maybe you take Anjali Mudra at the heart, maybe you take arms up overhead. And again, in your tree, notice the difference between just slumping into that right hip and just letting that left foot rest on the leg versus engaging that right hip, pressing the right thigh and the left foot towards one another, drawing that left knee out to the side, pressing the floor away from you with that right foot, and lifting the crown of the head up towards the sky. You might also play around with softening the gaze in your tree pose, even if it's just for one moment. One more breath here in your tree, the ultimate way to test our mind and our body and our balance, how we react to these situations. Now release that foot from the thigh, is the word I'm looking for. Once again, draw that knee into the chest. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Bring the left peace fingers and the left big toe to interlace around, I think I said that wrong, peace fingers and thumb to interlace around the left big toe is what I was trying to say. And then start to straighten that left leg straight out in front of you. It doesn't have to be fully straight, it can be a bit bent. Just make it work for you. Hold here with that grip on the foot. And then can you let go of the foot and keep it just as lifted? Reach both arms up overhead, maybe point through the left toes if that works for you. And now take some pulses on that leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your leg does not have to be as lifted as mine. Windmill that leg all the way back to the back of the mat. Come into your high lunge. Frame that front foot with both hands. Now this time bring the right peace fingers and the right thumb to interlace around the right big toe, and then step your way into a side plank. Weight is on the left hand and the left leg. Fingers interlaced around that right big toe. And now can you let go of the grip on the toe and keep the leg just as lifted? Hold, 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 and then tap elbow to knee. Extend, elbow to knee for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now big transition here. Can you step that right foot all the way to the front of the mat into a side lunge? So pivot all the way around into Tadasana on that right leg. Big move there. Whew. Fingertips can be on the mat at heart centre, or you can really find the activeness in this pose by reaching both arms up overhead. Finding the strength in the legs here. Holding your Skandasana. Take a deep breath in and then breathe out. Option to do it hands free or to bring the hands to the mat. Travel to Skandasana on the other side. Take it back to the front, back to the back, over to the front, whoop, back to the back, and now spin all the way to the front. Frame that front foot. Pivot into a low lunge and then drop the right knee down by the right wrist. Right foot comes in towards the groin for pigeon pose, but we're not chilling out in our pigeon right now. Finding the strength and the activeness. So, option to play around with lifting the fingertips off the mat and then extending the arms out behind you. Lifting the chest up towards the sky as much as you can or as much as feels good. Maybe you lift the gaze, take it into even more of a back bend. Holding here and then option to take some pulses. So pulse the back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands down onto the earth. Tuck under the back toes. Lift the back knee, draw the right knee into the nose and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it back to plank, wave it back to downward dog, take a chaturanga if you fancy. Take a moment to reset. Once again, inhale, tuck under the toes, bend the knees, exhale, hop it forwards or step it forwards. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come down through heart centre. This time we put all of our weight onto our left foot, interlace the fingers, draw the right knee into the chest, and then hook the hands around that knee. Start to take circles with that right ankle, going in both directions, and then take circles with that knee, going in both directions. You might wobble, you might fall out of the pose. Just laugh it off. Come and meet us back here. Now can you keep that knee just as lifted into the chest and release the hands up towards the sky. Hold that knee here. And then can you bring that foot to the left inner thigh, as high up as possible into your tree. I'll give you a moment to play around. Get that foot high, high, high. Press the foot and the thigh towards one another. Take whatever arm variation works for you. And just spend a few moments hanging out, but not hanging out, being engaged, being a nice, strong, solid tree. Maybe play around with softening the gaze for just a moment. Let that breath be slow and smooth and steady. And then bring left hand to the left hip. Release that foot from the thigh, draw the knee in, and then bring the 2 peace fingers and the thumb to interlace around that right big toe and start to kick that foot straight out in front of you. Maybe the knee is bent. Maybe your pose looks nothing like mine. That is totally okay. My left leg is absolutely burning, so if yours is burning, we're in that together. Whew. Now can you keep that leg just as lifted and release the grip? Maybe point the toes. Maybe you pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Was definitely counting quickly there because I don't want to be holding on my left leg any longer. Windmill it all the way back into a high lunge. Hold here for just a moment. Frame that front foot. Bring the left peace fingers and thumb to interlace around the left big toe and swivel your way open into a side plank on that right hand and that right foot with the grip on the big toe. And then can you release the grip, keep that foot lifted and take 5 elbows to knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big transition into Skandasana on the left leg. So step that left foot all the way to the front of the mat. Spin your way round. Right toes pointing up to the sky. And just take a moment to hang out here in your Skandasana. Taking whichever arm variation you fancy. Arms up ahead for the extra challenge. And then we travel over to the other side. Back to the front. Back to the back. Last little push on the legs for today, I promise. Back to the back, to the front, wherever you're going. To the back, to the front, and then frame that foot. Step it back to a plank. One last vinyasa if you're feeling for it. Inhale, upward facing dog. Oh, I forgot, pigeon pose. Okay, so we came into a low lunge. Drop that left knee in for pigeon pose. Nearly forgot, but then I remembered. So left knee is in pigeon pose, drawing that heel in towards the groin and then lifting the arms up and away behind you, strengthening through the whole entire spine. And then maybe pulse back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Frame that foot. Oh yes, this is our last little push. Draw that knee into the nose. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it back to plank. And maybe now you can work through your last chaturanga, or maybe you're totally done and you just want to meet in downward facing dog. Make your way to a seated position. Option to find the jump through. Whee! Rooting those sit bones down into the earth. Again, you could sit like this. You could be all floppy and not engaging at all. Or we can flex the toes back towards the face. Root the legs down into the earth. Draw the shoulders down, the chest forwards. Stack head, heart, hips, as I always like to say. So it might look easy, this pose, but it's not necessarily if you're finding the engagement. Now, come into a forward fold without giving it much attention. So let those feet go floppy again and just plonk yourself down over your legs. Feet are not active, arms are not active, spine is not active, and this probably isn't doing our spine any favours, just rounding forwards like this. So come back upright, flex those feet, inhale, reach the arms up, find length, 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 and then hinge at the hips. Use the core to pull yourself down into the fold, and then plant those hands on the mat. And we're not going to grab our feet and pull ourselves into the pose. We're going to use the strength of the core and the mobility in our spine to take it deeper. So if that means you don't get down as deep as you might normally when using the hands, that is okay. You might find that you can wiggle your way in a little bit deeper the more time you spend in the pose. On your next breath in, draw yourself back to an upright position. Keep the left leg just as it is, nice and flexed, nice and active, and then stamp that right foot to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, sweep both arms all the way up overhead and take a twist to the right with the arms and the upper body. So not hooking that elbow just yet and not grabbing the knee just yet. We're twisting just using our core, just using the strength in our body. Left arm is forwards, right arm is back, sending energy out through the fingertips. And now you've found the length. Hug that left knee or hook the elbow, taking yourself a little bit deeper into the twist. Sending the breath into that right side body, that right lung. And unravel, maybe take a little baby counter twist to the other side and then extend that right leg out long. Stamp the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, twist to the left, just using the core, the strength. Keeping that right foot nice and active and pressing all of the left toes down into the earth. Can you twist even deeper just using the strength? And then release. Give that left knee either a hug or hook the elbow. And even as you soften into the twist, keep that right foot nice and active. Unravel, maybe take that baby counter twist and then bring the right foot to meet the left. Let the knees flop out wide. And in our Baddha Konasana here, we're not going to use the elbows to push the knees open. We're going to find the strength and the mobility in the hips. So you can bring the hands to hold onto the feet or onto the ankles, but not using the elbows to push the knees open. Drawing those knees down using just the strength of the hips on their own. And if doing so means that you round forward like this, then don't take the knees down quite so far. And you can also take the feet further away from the groin if that helps you keep a nice long spine as well. And now we'll surrender into a fold. First we'll inhale and find length, 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 length. And then exhale, fold down with that long spine. And now maybe using the elbows on the knees, feeling into the stretch. So some poses we explored passive and then active, and now at the end we're switching from active into passive. So pushing the elbows into the knees might seem like the more active version, but in terms of opening up the hips, it's actually passive because we're using an external source other than the hips to open them up. As you are ready, draw your next breath in as you draw yourself back upright. Plant both feet down on the mat, extend the arms out in front and slowly lower yourself down. So rather than just flopping yourself back, lower down onto the back and do so with a nice long spine. So not rounding down like this, but keeping the core engaged, drawing the spine and the belly button towards one another. Lowering down slowly, keeping the shoulders down and the collarbones lifted. See if I can beat you down onto the earth. So when I've made it down, you might still be slowly lowering. That is how slow you can go. And release. Drop yourself down onto the earth. Draw both knees into the chest, and without using the hands, draw them in as much as you can. Squeezing them in. Start to take big circles with the knees, keeping them glued towards one another, taking the circles in one direction. And switch direction of the circles. I did a strength workout yesterday and this feels so good on my glutes right now. And now bring those knees back into the chest and bring the hands around them. Give yourself a big squeeze. Draw the knees into the chest, but keep the hips and the shoulders rooting down into the earth. Release the grip on the knees. Bring the arms either into cactus or into T. So either with the elbows bent or with the arms straight. And then start to drop those knees over to the right, but bring them to hover. Bring them back through centre, over to the left to hover, keeping both shoulders rooted into the earth, and keep flowing from side to side. Strengthening through the core and the obliques. One last little bit of fire for us today. You can bring your legs straight if you fancy the extra challenge and you've got enough room in the room that you're in, or maybe you're outside. If you are outside, then I'm very jealous because it's absolutely chucking it down where I am right now. Okay, next time you come over to the right, let those knees soften down to the earth. Taking the twist, taking any version of a twist that you fancy, take your favourite. Release, come back through centre and drop those knees over into your favourite twist on the other side. Come back through centre, maybe give yourself one final squeeze and take any moves that are calling to you before we make our way into Shavasana. So maybe a happy baby, and then drop into your final relaxation. So maybe the traditional Shavasana, maybe a Supta Baddha Konasana, usually the one I gravitate towards. Or if your lower back needs a bit of love, you can bring the feet to the outside edges of the mat and let the knees fall in towards one another. That can feel nice and relief on your lower back. So this is the ultimate contrast between active and passive. We've just done that active movement practice, and now is the time to drop into some peace and some stillness. Just take a moment to scan the body. Notice any residual areas of tension. Anything that you can soften. Notice how maybe your body feels different from how it did at the start of the practice. Notice if maybe your breath is different. And maybe notice whether your mind might be different. Take 10 breaths here in your Shavasana. Once you have finished your 10 breaths, start to bring some gentle movement back to the body. Might be some little wiggles, maybe some big stretches. Find what feels good. And then gently make your way back up to a comfortable seated position, ending our practice where we began. You can close the eyes if that feels comfortable, and we'll take one final deep releasing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth with a big loud sigh. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up so that I know you enjoyed it. You can also leave any comments with any thoughts, any requests, any suggestions for future videos, and of course don't forget to subscribe so that you can practice together with me, hopefully very soon. I really hope that you found the concepts of this practice useful, and hopefully you'll be able to bring the awareness that you gained from this class into other practices that you do, whether that's with me or other teachers or on your own. I hope you have a wonderful day.